What's up, cool people? I'm Matt Conroy, and I'm coming at you with another video game review sort of thing. Yeah. So, the game in question today is one with a really long title. Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. Why they had to put so many words in the title of it, I don't know. But, anyway, this is like probably one of the few actually just completely rated E games, I think, that I've played in a while. And certainly, I think the first one, well, no, not the first one I've put up on YouTube because of the Lego games involved. Anyway. So anyway, in terms of this game, you can see sort of the main options here. Career is where you'll do most of the stuff, unless you're playing online or with friends, which you might go to the matchmaking for. Or maybe custom game, I guess. Yeah. Matchmaking, I think, is strictly online ranked events, like it says there on the screen. Career mode is where you'll do most of the stuff in this game. Single race is pretty much what it seems like. Time attack is trying to get through the course as quickly as possible. Grand Prix, I think, is basically, you know, selected sets of courses that you just race through. Where I've spent pretty much the entirety of my time playing this game is in the World Tour. Now, one thing I'll point out right off the bat that I have a significant problem with when it comes to this game is this whole star rating system and how you pretty much have to, because of it, play through everything on the highest possible difficulty in order to unlock stuff and progress further in the game. Now, I've played enough to where I've unlocked all but what seems to be like the very end of it, basically. I mean, I guess it's encouraged, or I guess it's a way to encourage you to go through and maybe replay some of the events and different things like that. Speaking of the different events, there are quite a few different types, which helps with, you know, actually wanting to play this game for any decent length of time. But it's still kind of on the whole almost Sega's attempt at doing Mario Kart. I think the variety in game types might actually be a little bit better than most Mario Kart games I've seen, but there are other aspects that are significantly flawed, like the star system I already mentioned. Yeah, you'll get stuff like boost challenges and drift challenges where, you know, you'll have to try and do specific things. In this, like, in the boost challenge, you only have a really limited amount of time to get through, but the time stops whenever you're boosting. So you try and do different things to get boosts and get through. Drift challenge is sort of similar, except rather than time stopping at any given point, you have to try and drift along these specific paths that'll give you more time when you get through the various checkpoints, depending on how much you drift along that designated path. Versus is just kind of one at a time going against certain other racers. Traffic attack is almost where, like, you're trying to dodge through other cars and stuff along the racing path, and, you know, you get certain checkpoints that'll increase how much time you have, and even some bonus things you can go through to increase your time even further. Another boost challenge there. Ring race is pretty much always flying, and you try and go through different ring paths. Yeah, and I guess after mentioning that, I should mention, as you go through this game, in a typical race, you'll have 3 different possible modes that your vehicle can be in. One is just like a typical car that'll have you, you know, racing along designated road paths and different things like that. You also pretty much have like a water type, which will look probably somewhat like a speedboat or something, because there are water sections of some of these courses. And then there's also flying, where you can go through the air. But yeah, I think I'll just do a race in this game to show you what the typical, you know, kind of like the core gameplay would be. Now, as you go to a specific event, you have different difficulties that you can select. Getting up to the higher ones is super ridiculous. As you can see, I've unlocked most of the characters so far. It seems like there might be 2 that I'm missing somehow. I'm not sure. Oh, that one's in Grand Prix mode. Unlocking GP or Superstar Showdown. Okay, so I have to unlock those characters by other means. Gotcha. But as you unlock different characters, you can pick different ones that, you know, for whatever race you want. Some of these don't quite fit in with the Sega theme, like Wreck-It Ralph for some reason. Not sure why. Also, Danica Patrick. Yeah. I think those were some that they just kind of wanted to throw in to have something else aside from Sonic characters that were more recognizable. Because some of these do get a little obscure. I mean, Super Monkey Ball was... I don't know. It had a time. You got some characters from Jet Set Radio. I think this was from Skies of Arcadia, maybe? And that's obviously from the Knights franchise. I think Gilius here is from Golden Axe. But yeah. And this guy's supposed to be from, I think, the Shinobi games. But anyway, you know, most of it is trying to mix in different Sega-themed stuff. But you got a couple of outliers. But when it comes to selecting different characters, you do, through using them for different races, level them up, which ultimately just gives you more flexibility in how you use the character. Like, let's say I pick Sonic, who I've maxed out. The only thing that really gets unlocked as you progress through the different levels in the character are different modifiers for how they'll handle and different things like that. Some of these mods, usually the last one in the set, you have to unlock by collecting stars and, you know, getting it that way. But yeah. So it's not like you necessarily make the character inherently better by using them and leveling them up. It's more like you just kind of get more flexibility with ways to alter their handling and how they drive. But, I mean, some of the characters just by default will handle a little differently than others anyway, as you can see by looking at the bottom right and the different stats that show up. Anyway, the one I was using most recently was Tails, trying to get him leveled up. More often than not, I found myself going for the balanced mod on each character, unless there's a specific thing I'm doing that requires the use of a different mod. Anyway, I suppose it's about time we actually get into one of these races. Most of the controls are pretty understandable. Right trigger is go, left trigger is... Well, left trigger isn't exactly brake so much as it is drift in this game. You don't want to brake in this game. If you press right trigger with good enough timing before, you know, each number in the countdown, you can kind of get yourself a little boost at the start there. Drifting up to a certain length can give you some sort of boost as you're going along, and you get different drift levels that'll make you get a faster boost. And whoa, that is a really thin path. Okay, don't do that. I'm not trying real hard to win this race, although I wouldn't mind winning it. Because apparently that's what you have to do to clear this and get the stuff. Get the stars that help you unlock other things. Normally in the bottom left there's like a mini-map of sorts that'll help you sort of see the path, although I generally don't find myself looking at it much because of wanting to focus on where I'm going. Oh geez, there's something trying to get me. How am I in first place? What in the heck? Ah, no. But as you can see, there are certain power-ups you get as you go along that you can use to mess up other players. Kind of like you do in Mario Kart. One thing I haven't done yet, which I don't know if I'll really have a good chance at doing on this course, is you can also kind of do tricks as you're changing the car modes, and it'll give you what's called a transform boost. It doesn't seem to work very well as you're transforming into the aerial mode. Come on now. Really? Why? How did I miss that? Oh, hey. Now we're on the water for some unknown reason. Oh well. I don't even know what I'm doing here. Ah, maybe this will give you a good example. You can do tricks like that, and those will give you a boost. So... oh, come on. So there are a couple of more wrinkles, or whatever you want to call them, in the gameplay mechanics than you would find typically from like Mario Kart or something like that. Ah, crud. Whoa, that was close. I almost fell off the track. Like, right there. How are you supposed to... how are you supposed to get that figured out? Well, whatever. But anyway, yeah, sometimes, I don't know why, it seems like this game just throws a whole bunch of ridiculous stuff at you that you wonder how you're supposed to account for it. Like, for example, I really don't know what's going on right now with all the different times I'm falling off the map. But even if that wasn't happening, more often than not, it seems like I have other characters that are, you know, throwing different power-ups at me to mess me up. Ouch. Okay, come on. Give me something. And I'm not quite gonna end up in first place, am I? Nope. Second. Dang it. And the thing is, in order to get the stars for this event, on this difficulty, I have to get first place. And that's where a lot of the frustration can come in, because you could be doing fine, but then, like, at the last minute, you get hit with a whole bunch of stuff from the computer characters, and suddenly you're unable to complete your objective. So there are certain design choices like that within this game that really kind of frustrate me some. But now that you've seen the general workings of it, I don't know if there's really a whole lot more I need to say, but yeah. Craziness like that ensues very frequently on the highest difficulty rating. So anyway, I don't know if I really want to say too much more about this game. It's an attempt at another company doing something Mario Kart-esque, but ultimately, at least this particular game in the series, doesn't seem to do it particularly well. I don't know if this game kind of stemmed off of the Sonic Riders series, or if this was a completely different idea. They seem to share a similar concept, and I think, at least when I'm recording this, I recently heard that there's supposed to be another new game in this series coming out soon, or maybe did come out recently. I don't know, I wasn't paying too much attention to it. But hopefully they would have made some improvements. Like, maybe not having this stupid star system to unlock everything, or if they still have it, where you don't have to do it on the highest difficulty to get everything in the game. But whatever. So anyway, I don't know if I really have too much more to say about this. If I was going to give it an overall rating, honestly, it'd be somewhere in the middle of the road, because, you know, there are certain aspects of this game that, you know, like, it is a functional game. Most of the stuff that's frustrating isn't necessarily like, you know, the game got really glitchy or anything like that. Most of the frustration of it just kind of comes from poor design choices, like really sharp turns in a level where certain characters almost cannot handle those, and you end up either falling off the edge or crashing into the side, and it significantly slows you down. Or, you know, other design choices like the overall star rating unlock system thing. But anyway, yeah. So, I'd maybe give this a 6 at best, just because of those rather significant flaws in the game. But, maybe that's just me and the fact that I find the highest difficulty rating kind of frustrating. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments section, along with ideas you have for other games you want me to play or review, or different things like that. Even non-video game related ideas that you have for me, just let me know down below. I suppose that's all for this time, so as always, like, share, subscribe, click the bell, do all that good stuff. If you're not sure of how to keep up with my channel and interact with me and my social media pages and my videos and that kind of stuff, you can look down in the description below this video. It'll give you all that information. And I guess there isn't really much else to say, so I hope you're all doing well. Hopefully I'll see you in the next video. But until then, stay cool, people.